Hey, what's up guys? This is Oakley and we're going to be doing a massive battle in Napoleon actually. So you don't always get too many of these, but I was playing a little bit of Napoleon just to freshen up. And this is definitely going to shape up to be an awesome battle. Straight right off the bat, it's going to be a 3v3. Let's go ahead and blow this map up a little larger so you can see kind of how this map plays out. There's a whole series of houses that you want to go ahead and control in the middle of the map. Each of us is going to spawn on a little bit of a hill, and let's go ahead and put this on pause actually because it's going to be pretty strategic. I'm going to go ahead and analyze what's going on. So I'm going to be playing against a team that has two guys from the MGL clan, and they're going to be playing very well together, whereas right off the bat our team is not super good at communication, so I'm going to end up holding this flank and my allies are going to be holding the other flank. Let's go ahead and analyze what I'm facing up against. So my objectives are to take at least this house, or keep my opponent from taking it. And then I want to secure this location up here. I was gunning for maybe taking this house. That's why you can see me charging forward with my lancers. Let's look at my deployment. I have a bunch of infantry stacked up, a bunch of these Prussian musketeers with more of those. Foot guards are going to be moving up as companions to these forces. So you can see three guys are going to be moving up heavily to push these cavalry off the hill, as well as another unit here to perhaps secure the hill. Then I'm going to move up with two of my cavalry forces here. A lot of my Silesian Schützen are going to be moving up. These guys are extreme range guys, 125 range, really good shots, and I wanted them to push up because I knew this was going to be a big battlefield with a lot of skirmishers, so they're going to be pushing up, and they're going to have more extreme range. Actually, I have two of those guys. And then a bunch of foot guards and Prussian fusiliers to help that out, and then a huge block of 4 militia backed up by 2 more foot guards. So, you know, low cost units to soak up the advance on this side. I just wanted to put numbers on the field. My ally is going to be Great Britain here, and he's also going to push up, although not as aggressively as myself or this ally here. So another unit as Great Britain moving up. And our opponents are going to be moving up very, very quickly. That's something France is able to do just because they have chasseurs à cheval. So already we're going to be caught a little flat-footed, especially in this engagement. The French are going to be taking the hill with their gunner cavalry, who, if you recall, can shoot while mounted. And that's going to be very, very advantageous for pushing forward positions. Let's go ahead and put this on play. I think that's enough of the tactics. The French, as I said, are going to be taking the initiative here, rushing forwards, and they have a little bit more of the teamwork on their side. So I'm already being warded off a little bit by these chevaux légers lanceurs, and these guys do not have range, so at least I was afforded a little bit more mobility against these guys, but they can definitely deliver a devastating charge, so I had to be wary. I pulled back my cavalry, and my opponent is going to be moving up here with his chasseurs à cheval. You guys also always comment on me pronouncing those guys. Yes, I was brought up by 2 French parents, so I am able to pronounce these correctly. However, I was born in the States, so that's why I have an American accent, and I'm mostly identifying with being an American. But anyways, now I'm going to be pushing up, and I figure, you know, tactically, I have lost this position. The cavalry have the high ground. He now has chasseurs who can outrange me in this position. I'm not going to go ahead and push up to this point. Something to note is lines of fire are very important for Napoleon. His guys can shoot all day from the hill. As I crest the position, he can fall back, avoid me from getting shots. I have to get closer. He charges down with cavalry, which is what he's doing here. And I'm going to make him pay for this charge. I'm already getting a couple forces out here, already fusiliers in the forest. I have good cover and I can get some shots off. He's going to go ahead and try and land an assault on my guys. I brought them back to the cover of my musketeers and my lancers. So he's going to go ahead and charge out into this position, and what the French are doing is they're going to throw some of their semi-disposable cavalry into this force and try and knock out my Silesian Schützen, and these guys, some of them have been mortified by the assault, and they're going to be taking a rather significant beating. That was very troublesome for me. I think I pushed up too aggressively before deploying adequately, so now he's going to be able to charge into 2 of my Prussian fusiliers. I thought it was kind of worth it because I could pull him into a trap. You can see I only lost about 12 men there, or maybe that was 22, I can't count, 12 I believe. So I take out his chevaux lanceurs. You know, these guys can pull out of this fight. I did lose rather significant numbers though, so perhaps that exchange of cavalry was worth it for him. However, he's going to be shooting his men in the back. I'm going to shoot his cavalry, so I figured I traded 2 half units of skirmishers for 2 cavalry units who are going to be taking a severe beating, and I figured I would rather take out his cavalry units. I'm going to leave one of my militia units because you can see he's already getting a counterattack against me. More cavalry are going to be moving into position, and so I'm going to pull back and allow. This is why I brought a bunch of these fodder units, because they are meant to be fodder. Meanwhile, my allies here are going to start to engage on the front. Sorry for not going to be able to cover too much of this. But the problem here is this ally in the center is going to cause us a lot of issues. I think he was rather new to the game, and he's just going to stand here and watch the French. Meanwhile, the French are going to go ahead and, you know, he's going to move at least a quarter of his forces over here, and they're going to almost double team me, so I'm going to be left alone on the hill calling for help, but help is not going to come, and so it's going to be me fending for myself, but I believe I do rather well. Over on this front, I have just positioned some guys in the woods. No need to push up. I am going to hold some forces here out of range, and what I have over here is a Slation Scheutzen, who were not routed, but these guys have extreme range, and they're going to be able to start picking off some of his forces, his chasseurs, who are at a distance who I can outrange, and that's why I knew I had to take those guys to the fight, and that's why my opponent was, specifically targeting them with these cavalry assaults. He's throwing a lot of guys into this fight. I'm going to go ahead and keep pulling back. My own militia troops are going to be committed to this fight, just try and take him out, but they have, as I said, a lot more guys committing to this battle. It's at this point that I realize if they are going to get into this fight, I might as well go ahead and push all of my militia while these guys are out of formation and go ahead and do what my opponent did to me. So I'm going to throw all of my cavalry into this fight before these guys are ready in position. And this little hill I knew would afford me quite a bit amount of cover. And so, yep, you can see his shots are going to be hitting nothing. And so now I'm going to get a rather devastating counter assault into these reinforcements. So I'm doing everything I can to counterbalance this. I'm following up with a massive infantry assault led by my cheap militia guys. The opponent is now going to commit more of his forces. This is when I was hoping, Great Britain would send his guys over here and really help me on that fight. He's going to go ahead and commit left, which is going to be a huge problem for me. Now that my cavalry are in this mix, the French did land a counter assault with their chasseurs cheval. I do have more guys getting some shots on, and some of my militia were broken. He's now getting a lot of lines of fire on my guys. That's the problem with the French, is they can deploy a lot of troops, especially with their chasseurs, who can run around and do all sorts of devastating fire on me. I am counteracting this with a huge amount of numbers on this hill, and I've pulled back some of my forces. My opponent is going to be making a push. My guys here are positioned in such a way that I know the hill can guard me. And yep, most of those shots are going to go over or hit the little knoll in front of me. And this allows me to get some key shots against these chasseurs without taking any return fire. I'm also going to position these guys behind the cover of this little shed. That's going to allow me to destroy anyone here. Meanwhile, he can't really push too much on this front because I have a lot of guys in the forest and the house. So this is how I'm going to be doing my strategic defense against overwhelming numbers. And now the French are going to be combining their forces. No help from Great Britain. My God, man, send your dragoons, send something into this force. So I was just getting punished by these Voltigales. I don't have enough skirmisher forces. They're all deployed on the front here. My opponent is going to try and land some sort of assault on my guys once more. Let me go ahead and pull out of this fight. He's going to think better of that, knowing that I can reposition rather quickly, continue to get some shots off. It's over here that I have to use, again, the slight hill to my advantage and just guard my flanks. And then I went ahead and pulled some of my militia units out through here and into this little house, which will hopefully, yep, you can see how that's forcing even the old guard are going to be running back in retreat. I'm going to push these guys off, noticing that they got some flanking shots off on the wrong units. He's unloading into the hill. That's going to be my opportunity to move up and engage with some cavalry. However, at the last minute, these guys got their stakes up, so that was, that blunted my assault. I probably could have broken those guys, but unfortunately, it's not going to allow me to do that. And now the French are going to be tempting an assault with that, but I have point-blank range with my militia units. If they had some of the murderous fire of some elite units, it would have been much better. He's going to land some sort of a counter assault with just 13 chasseurs, but that's going to be enough to disrupt my line of fire, allow him to cover his retreat there. Let's put this on pause. The French are very, very good here. They're going to do a lot of these back and forth with their chasseurs cheval, somehow not taking any damage. These guys have landed numerous assaults on me. I've had counter volleys and they're still not dying. I think it's just because they brought a lot of those forces over here. They're thinking to push into the woods. That's fine. I'm just trying to wait. You can see how many forces I have kept at bay on this front. And over here, my Slation Scheutzen are going to be doing a great push against these guys. Again, he can't get any fire really against me. The hill is protecting me. So always in Napoleon, you have to keep in mind what's going on with the terrain. And I'm moving in some more musketeers because I sense a cavalry charge is impending. Foot guards are going to be positioned to hold that front. But the cavalry are going to break this, and they have a lot more forces to help push this side. Meanwhile, Great Britain, I was really pissed at this, is not doing anything. He does have some horse guards who are trying to be sneaky, but it's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, he's just going to be facing off against a puny French force. Like, come on, man, commit. Commit to this fight. You have so many light foot. Go ahead and push up and destroy this. We could have, mopped up the French. Because meanwhile, this isn't the only thing happening. There's a whole engagement with this other wing that I haven't been able to cover. It's mostly a fight for the crest of the hill. And again, this player on our side is not super good. He's committing a couple of his elite units against much more French units, and it's mostly this is more of a traditional fight where you go and you march out in long lines. However, our guys are only committing a couple forces, running across the front, just total disarray. So I don't want to, blame the the way this battle is going on my opponent's skill, but I just want to show that, you know, the tactics do have varying degrees of, you know, efficacy in this battle. And I was just kind of bitter because I was forced to hold off 2 French forces. Let's go ahead and put this on play anyways. Continue to get some shots off, forcing these guys to throw their lives away for nothing, and they're going to move up with their Swiss foot. I decide that I'm going to have to boogie on out of there. Again, use the crest of this hill to cover my retreat. It's a little weird with the movement commands with in Napoleon. You'll find that when you tell people to move in Rome 2, they would have run. In this game, they walk, so had a little bit of trouble with that. But they're going to do a really, really good job. This is, you know, just a testament to these guys. MGL clan are very good, and they know how to play as France. They're going to go ahead and, you know, move in lines, always have units firing in the back. Cavalry always, you know, forcing me to redeploy, and I'm just constantly going to be moving back. Finally, he sends in some of his horse guards, but he's going to be throwing them into the teeth of the French defense. You know, he has the Brave, probably the best units in the game you can get. He's going to jump into square. That's going to be troublesome for me. It does, however, sort of allow me to reclaim this front. The French are going to be redeploying Old Guards. Old Guard, very, very key forces right here at the intersection of the 2 armies. Very good position for the Old Guard. They're going to chase into my forces. I'm not going to allow these chasseurs cheval to do too much damage. They're going to be going mostly into squares, but again, every time they do the square position, he's going to go ahead and seize the key territory and just lay on some murderous fire. Constantly, I'm going to be forced to fall back. Even my Schützen had to abandon the optimal position they had here because, look, they have triple lines coming at me. Just tons of fire going down here. So I have, you know, this guy here who can get some flanking shots, one more here, and I'm falling back more and more to the woods. I don't think I can hold this position. They just have too many troops. And you can see my foot guards are going to try and hold the line at the extremity. And now, you know, this entire force has been peeled off and they're going to be attacking me. Finally, it looks like we're going to push up, you know, a couple inches. But God, oh, I'm going to stop talking about that force. That was infuriating. And they're going to land strikes exactly where they need to. Constantly, you know, harassing my guys, not allowing them to get any shots. And then the downside of me having militia on the side meant that the chasseurs cheval were free to just pull on through, and they're going to go ahead and ignore my foot guards, allow them to get just chewed up by these Old Guard. It's going to be very troublesome for me. And then scoot around behind the lines, form up into square, do everything I can to hold these guys at bay. Meanwhile, this is, you know, every square I make is less troops I can commit to the front. I was hoping I would be able to break this. If I had more cavalry, I could have definitely swarmed through that line, but I'm spread extremely thin, even pulling up some guys from the woods here to try and save my general. They went all the way, pulled through my lines. The chasseurs cheval were incredible, pulled all the way through to my general. I figured I could win this. You know, he has not that many guys. I have supporting fire, but I think they're going to end up actually killing my general. I was very pissed off about that. I should have pulled them out earlier. I figured I could, you know, mop up these guys with the supporting fire. Now my entire left flank is crumbling. The Brits are finally going to try and commit a little bit to this fight. Just throw everything here. And then they're going to allow the Old Guard to seize the building, which is going to neutralize this flank. Meanwhile, cavalry are doing nothing. Yeah, my left flank is crumbling, and I'm getting absolutely torn apart piecemeal. So before this fight continues, let's go ahead and watch what's happening here. Not much to talk about here. He's having both of his buildings seized on the flanks, and then he's going to get pincered. But anyways, over here the French have seized the hill. The Great Britain player, I'm not sure why he wanted to hold the downside of the hill. That's always disadvantageous. And this forest is just a confused mess. Not quite sure what's been going on in here. Just mostly a lot of murder and chaos. Young Guard, okay, that's why this flank is being held up. Really good French troops. But looks like we may be able to hold that flank. And this is going to maybe be ground down to a nub. So it's mostly in the center where we needed some of the reinforcements. I guess the diplomatic relations between Prussia and Great Britain were not super great, and they were going to let me take the brunt of this double French assault. Foot Guards holding the line against Swiss foot. Figured I could take that. I'm going to go ahead and redeploy after having cleaned up most of his cavalry. My general, I believe, yep, was defeated, unfortunately. And I didn't know why. I thought I had more troops here, so I figured, oh, okay, yeah, I should be able to win this. But it seems that his Swiss foot combined with the Old Guard here in the distance are just going to be too much for me. His guys are going to try and redeploy. I'm getting a lot of fire on these Old Guards. But they have just some of the most amazing stats in the game, and they can just, look at this, totally chew apart my guys. And then this is the way you're supposed to do this. Learn from the MGL clan. Move up with just chasseurs point blank, fusilier of the line right behind them, and then chasseurs cheval who can do attack and retreat, and that's what they're doing in the rear, constantly harassing my guys, not allowing me to get continuous volleys of fire. and they're finally going to take the building. I do have some of my men in the forest here, and they're going to try and hopefully shoot. I'm not quite sure. There we go. Let's go, foot guards. And they went ahead and shot the wrong targets. I was hoping they would shoot these guys who are trying to take the hut right there. As I have some of my guys as guard duty for the rear, continuing to get some shots on the old guard, but it's going to be a slowly enveloping flank. Also over here, French are just concentrating fire on the exposed British light troops. Meanwhile, the main line is just sitting pretty, not doing anything. France has massed huge amounts of these chasseurs cheval. These are going to be very, very deadly units. Looks like Great Britain threw everything he could into this little nook of the battlefield. He's not using his cavalry at all. Meanwhile, over here, looks like the French are going to be sending an assault. I think they decided not to commit too much and instead pull back all their cavalry and mass on an assault, make sure they could clean up. I think they were wanting to take me out. I was offering the most resistance and then sweep up the rest afterwards. So that's why you see all these forces being committed here. The chasseurs, lancers. That's why. So these are lancers, and they've just been thrashing me so hard this entire game. Old guard not letting up, getting point blank into my guys. I'm trying to reform. I don't want him to get enfilading fire like this, so I'm going to pull back to the last remaining place. And again, I'm running into the glitch where my guys are going to start walking when I issue a movement command. It's all sorts of chaos on my side of things. They're not going to allow me to retreat. Just break. God damn it, break. So they're going to continue to chase after my guys. I was pretty pissed. But yeah, I figured, let's hold the forest. That's going to be good enough for me. We'll be able to stem the French assault here. This is where we hold them, especially with foot guards. Figured let's clean up some of these old guards. But, I have 120 men, and I figured they would be able to kill these old guards units. I mean, I have 2 guys already shooting at them, and we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, my guys over here are getting thrashed. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I target the main group of old guard. In the back, my building is being captured. Chasseurs are running in the back, so I'm just getting completely surrounded. And I guess I should have deployed in a long line like the French are doing here, because look, they get almost 120, all of their guys shooting volleys. Meanwhile, I only have the front lines. The rest of my guys are caught shuffling. That was very inefficient of me. I should have stretched out further, but stretching out further would have exposed more of my lines here. I had to have these guys shooting, so I was caught in a really troublesome position. And like I said, I had 120 of these guys a second ago, but the Great Guard or Old Guard are just too powerful, and that's going to start to shatter my forces, absolutely obliterate them. A couple more guys pulled out of the forest. I really want to take out his Old Guard, but there's not much I can do with all this fire. And the French are going to get me from the back. And now here's the huge mob of cavalry that they had. Finally, Great Britain is going to start to deploy some of his guys against the French troops. And it looks like they've been able, the French have kind of ignored that flank, and now they're going to be pushing more so in the forest, pulling a lot of these chasseurs. And what they're going to be positioned to do is to just get shots off on these lifeguards. These are extremely expensive horse being thrown into squares, countercharged by cavalry. So those guys are going to go down. These guys are not going to be formed into squares, so I can tell you they're going to get routed almost instantly, especially with all these cavalry coming over. So here are these chasseurs. Looks like they're going to reform. Oh my god, shoot at them point blank. Now there we go. Here's the rest of this huge cavalry mob coming over the hill. Very, very dangerous. Hard to hold back that many cavalry troops. And they're going to be sweeping up this force. Look at this. They're just pulling through. And I wonder if they're going to go after the general staff right there. Meanwhile, the French are now going to take this opportunity to redeploy. The light foot are too far back. They're not at all guarding this force, who is going to get massacred by the French voltigeurs. And over on this front, it's kind of been drawn out evenly. On my side, I have like one guy left here, 1 foot guards who's still holding strong, but they're getting absolutely destroyed. Meanwhile, the remainder of this French force is being pulled off to the side. I am going to have one of these guys who are going to reform, and I'm going to just do a little bit of a cutesy play over here, go ahead and harass the French lines in the rear, but there's not much I can do here. So the French are now, secured this flank. They have a huge cavalry charge coming through here, crashing through this front, and they're going to go ahead and continue to clean up this force. Meanwhile, Great Britain is going to land a bit of a foolhardy assault. I mean, maybe not so foolhardy because there is a little bit of the terrain helping them out. But once they get over the crest of this hill, we can watch some of this. They are going to take the fire of the double ranks. Not only the voltigeurs in the front, but the Swiss foot, I believe, in the back. Yeah. I don't know what, are they out of ammo or what they're expecting to have happened in this fight. Yeah. So here we go. Seem to be very tired, running in almost slow motion. And here comes the brave charge, and I think there's going to be another volley before they crest the hill, before they get to the enemy. Yep. Oh, there we go. One more volley, and that's going to be it for that line. They're going to go ahead and retreat and break. So almost a Pickett's charge type of moment right there. Just totally breaking that front. And now the French are going to continue to commit. I wonder where those chasseurs cheval went. Looks like this is all actually that survives. That was a very hard push for the French through there, but at least they have more reinforcements. They committed a lot from these cavalry. They're going to be going thrown into here just to break that formation up, keep them from firing, and then the old guard are going to get point blank and get some shots off. So chasseurs cheval are probably the best cavalry in the game. Very, very versatile. I wish all the factions had them, because if you don't have chasseurs cheval, you're definitely at a disadvantage, because they are just so versatile, and they can get so much done for you. The remains of this fight are just crazy. And I mean, look at that, men splayed out in lines on the ground. That's one of the, of course, little things that happen when you have you know, warfare like this, where people line up. You end up with very interesting patterns of death everywhere. I believe the forest is ours. I can't tell. My God, that is just bloody. That is crazy. But yeah, we have just a couple forces left. I can't even find them. There's so few of them. Okay, now we're gonna be redeploying. He's gonna move up, I believe, seize this position and try and hold up against, you know, the French, who are now gonna be making their way over here. More of these useless charges against old guard. And yep. Oh, that's so cool. I forgot the officers had pistols. So even the officer getting some more shots. The drummer boy and the flag bearer going at it. Definitely a victorious day for the French, to say the least. And here come my guys. I figured, oh, look, this guy forgot about his line. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, he did. He basically left one guy behind. I was like, okay, fine. You can deal with this force. I'm going to move the rest of my guys away. And so I'm going to go ahead and take him up on that and just get some shots off on him. It's not going to be enough, obviously. The main French line is here. Looks like the general staff is... He's so brave. He's going to be, you know, putting his back to all these guys almost in the thick of the battle. He doesn't care at all. He's got the old guard next to him. Looks like now he's going to... That's weird. Oh, okay. We put an attack order on him, so now he's going to peel on out of there. So we're kind of cleaning up some of the French stragglers who didn't get the memo that they were supposed to deploy on the east side of this fight, and they ran into the remaining British folks right there. But yeah, complete encirclement right here. And let's look at the map. Total cleaning up this guy. You can even see over on the far southeast side of the map, my unit that was trying to engage the enemy was just destroyed. So all that we have left is this small British force right over here. Great Britain. Here he goes. He's going to be positioning himself a little bit in the forest. Good move to get some cover. And here come all the French. I think they still have they still have a general alive here. Who is this? Oh, it doesn't say. Maréchal, maybe. I'm not sure. Now we can watch a little bit more of the cinematics. I think the old guard are going to get shot in the back, actually. They're a little too close to the British line. Oh, yep. Yeah. Shoot him. Shoot him! I really want them to kill these old guards. These guys gave my own foot guards a beating. Nope. Looks like they're going to target different troops. Ha-ha! Ha! Got one of them. Yeah. There you go. Flanking around the sides. Always this team was working well in conjunction. Gonna flank around the sides. They have cavalry going around the flanks, ready to push in case the fire gets too sustained. Go ahead and break up the enemy formation. Yep, here he goes. He's gonna go ahead and, I think, yep, charge in here. Get some shots off. Break that line. Tie this entire force up. Then I can tell you he's gonna move these guys closer. Yep, there you go. Move them up closer, and just engage. So that's kind of order of operation for Napoleon. Total War. That's how it's done. And to great effect, you can see. Who do you want to follow? Let's watch the general's charge. Maybe, looks like he may be able to get a little bit of revenge. He is going after the old guard. But I think we have, are we going to get a general-on-general battle? Come on, Frenchie. Commit to this fight. You can take him. There you go. Oh, nope. He gave up. They already shot their own general, I think. Yeah. So the general died, so he decided not to have a general-on-general battle. Unless this is him? No. And that is the end of it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this battle. A little bit of a long battle, a little bit of me bitching against my allies, but I was kind of pissed. I mean, I got double teamed on this side. I was fighting a good fight, and the Great Britain player in the middle just had so many opportunities to help out. And I don't know. I think it was also the fact that I was playing against 2 MGL guys. I really wanted to have them lose a team battle against 3 randoms. That would have been fun. It's always nice to beat back the clan guys. This is mostly going to be, I'm going to fast forward to the end. You guys don't have to watch all this. Just go ahead and stick in to the stats at the end. We'll go ahead and watch that. I don't think I got the world's best stats, mostly because I was double teamed. Let's see the kills. Yeah, I didn't actually get that many kills. I think mostly just because I was getting harassed. Actually, Pike got a lot of kills. He was the one who was holding up on this front, mostly because I think they just obliterated each other to oblivion, you could say. But yeah, here are the 2 MGL players. Fun battle. Definitely good engagement. It's refreshing to play a bit of Napoleon, and I hope you guys don't mind that I play some of these older battles. Anyways, thanks so much for staying tuned to this whole video. I will see you next time. Peace out.